Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. Yes, I am in a new room. Yes, I have moved out. There's going to be some jumping back and forth between the old place and the new place because the next few video schedule is a little bit weird. Let's get some stuff out of the way for the new room. Yes, the carpet is dirty. You please try having dogs that shed white fur on a black carpet. Yes, my PC is on the ground. No, it is not and has never been on the carpet. It is on a little shelf. It always has been. And yes, it is a little bit messy. I'm still trying to get sorted. But today, for the first video that I record in this new slash old space, I mean, it's an old space, one that you guys should recognize, but it looks a little bit different from when I last was here. But we are going to be checking out this bad boy. This is a package from LDY. Full disclosure, this package was sent for free for the purpose of this video. Any and all opinions presented within this video are my own. The Kite-AL, everybody. Let's get a little bit of a refresher. The Kite was a ballad song that I quite enjoyed. I had a few issues with it, but overall, for what they were trying to do, especially the price to performance, it was pretty excellent. And I still think it is excellent, and I'm kind of disappointed that it's already kind of not a thing anymore. And what LDY said they did is they, quote unquote, took all the feedback that they got from the original Kite and they put it into the new Kite-AL. Now, I have been very open on many different avenues, from my live streams to the podcast, that I think that that is a misguided idea. I think it's a very interesting idea to take everything that you learned from a titanium balisong and then apply it to an aluminum balisong. And really quickly, what I mean by that is, let's say that you release a titanium balisong and people say it has too much handle weight and you should reduce it. The problem is, when you switch to aluminum, that is inherently already going to change the flipping experience quite a bit. So if you take that feedback of, hey, lower the handle weight, and then you lower the handle weight in the aluminum one, it's probably going to be a massive overcorrection because there's already going to be less handle weight because you made it out of aluminum in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that that's exactly what they did, and I'm not even saying that I'm correct here, but those have been my thoughts going into it. So I'm very, very interested to see how exactly that whole idea of, hey, let's take this thing and let's apply what we learned to this completely new thing. I'm interested to see how it goes. The unboxing experience, super sick. Hard case. This thing retails for $69, by the way, because I have the trainer here. The live blade, I believe, is $79, which is even cheaper than the Orion, which is insane, because this has G10 scales on it. But it comes in this hard case. There's a little balisong stand / hanger right here. And then actually in it, I was very confused about what this was because my box was labeled with hazmat. And it also said lithium ion battery. So I thought it wasn't a balisong at first. And then I opened it up and it was. I'm assuming it's maybe the little battery that powers the NFC chip in their little like tag that they use here. I don't know, but you get their excellent 3D printed screwdriver. You get some extra screws, bushings, pivots, washers. You get the little thing that you can NFC, at least I assume that's what that is. And then some really cool looking like Cygnus inspired band-aids. And then a massive microfiber cloth. Honestly, a fantastic unboxing experience for what is proving to be a very, very cheap balisong. Now let's see if this thing actually holds up. If it wants to come out of the package. Starting off, the G10 feels fairly similar to the carbon fiber of Ye Old. Maybe a little bit smoother, a little less chalky, but I'm sure that's going to change as I use it. I went for the red one because my balisong collection doesn't have nearly enough red. I am loving the texture on this thing. There's sort of like a almost wood grain pattern on the G10, which looks excellent. We've got raised jimping. It says Ethan on the inside. I love to see it. And we have a brand new blade. So I'm assuming this is one of the things that they took feedback on. It's kind of got a very similar like vibe down here, but they've changed it to a more traditional bite handle side, because that was something that I said a lot when I talked about the Kite, was that it's kind of difficult to flip sometimes because your brain looks at this and thinks that this is the cutting side because of traditional tantos. I don't think that was necessarily something that they had to change, but I guess given that this is definitely them pushing for a more beginner-focused audience because it is a cheaper ballast song, that's something that they wanted to avoid, which I think is the right choice. I think changing away from more confusing blade shape on something that's supposed to be a little cheaper, on something that's supposed to be a little bit more budget and beginner-friendly, is the way to go. Not a huge fan of the blade shape, but I think it does look cool enough. And I just really want to flip this thing. Let's see how much different it is from the actual kite. Very different. And there it goes. Wow. So, it's interesting because they've kept the same vibe overall as the kite. If anything, it maybe even feels a little bit more handle bias than the original kite does. Maybe not handle bias. Maybe that's the wrong word. But it feels a little bit more end weighted. Definitely less tip weight. I'm feeling a little bit more kind of shakiness when I fan. A little bit more unstable on the fans. But rollovers are absolutely glued. Chaplains are very glued. This definitely has a sort of more end-weighted balance. I can feel the weight kind of distributed further towards the end of the handles. The original kite, while being handle biased, I would describe as fairly evenly distributed, especially when you choker fan. It just choker fans really well. This, I am struggling a little bit more on the fans and the choker fans simply because of that less tip weight. But I do like how it flips overall. Definitely excelling with rollovers. Far more than fans and choker fans, though, which, you know, for me, isn't really something that I'm going to enjoy. But I don't hate it, especially for $70. Yeah. For $70, listen, it's fantastic. This is a great ballast song for $70. If I don't look at it under that filter, definitely struggling a little bit with the fans and the choker fans. It's not awful. It still can do it. It's just lacking a little bit of the sort of follow through, I guess. Keep dropping this thing. It's lacking a little bit of the follow through. Holy cow. The G10's a little slick. It's lacking a little bit of the follow through on the fans and choker fans that the original kite did. That being said, I'm not really totally sure what feedback they took and put into this thing. Because it does... Oh my gosh, I just keep dropping it. It does deliver a very similar experience to the titanium kite, but definitely not as good in my eyes. Yeah, I don't know. For my flipping style personally, I just kind of prefer the more distributed feel of the original kite. Whereas this definitely has a bit more of a handle bias to it. It's definitely preferring rollovers, 0Gs, chaplains. And when I say that, it is excellent at that. And I'm almost happy that it is, because when you're looking at a $70 ballast song, a lot of the times I'm going to recommend that a beginner is going to get something handle biased, because a lot of the early, easier tricks that you learn, things like rollovers, things like chaplains, are going to benefit from that handle bias. So it's going to make it easier to get into the hobby. Or not even to get into the hobby, but to learn more tricks as you get into the hobby. So I can't necessarily say that I'm upset that they made that change. I totally understand why they made that change. I think for right now, I do prefer the original kite, but that's something that I'm going to have to see how it changes on the overall follow-up video. Now, the one thing that is interesting is because they've pushed the, I'm assuming this is a bottle opener, so far up, there's really no way of telling when you've hit the bite side. I mean, there is maybe a little bit, but if you're really kind of in a combo, I don't know if I would feel that. Yeah, I don't know if I would really be like brought out of my combo enough to say, oh, I was on the wrong side. Let me get, my Balisong case is still a mess from Blade Show. Please excuse this awful, horrendous display. I want to grab another starter Balisong, my personal favorite starter Balisong, the cheese, and just kind of give it a flip. Yeah, the cheese definitely, I can't believe I'm saying this, feels maybe a little bit more neutral. Definitely still a little handle bias, but the blade doesn't lag behind as much. The handles aren't like noticeably heavier, whereas on this they are. I'm still, for me personally, I know that I don't like that. I'm deciding if I like that for beginners or not. Oh my gosh, I've been spending some actual time learning some other tricks, but I just can't do them when I'm in video mode. It is insane how much better I can flip off camera when I'm not focusing on forming opinions or forming sentences. I think the best way to put this first impressions, and something that very well could change, so stop back for the full update video when I've spent a lot more time with this thing than the 5 minutes that I have this video. I personally don't like it as much as some of the other options available at the price point, but I think ultimately it might be a very good thing for some of the people who are shopping in that price point. And I think objectively for the price, at least I shouldn't say objectively, in my opinion, it is no question that it is a slam dunk for the price. And it's a very good performer. I could very well see this being someone's like main Balisong because of the way that it's balanced. I can see that this balance might, you know, like kind of the more momentum heavy handles. I can see some people who this would be like their main flipper. This would be the thing that they flip when they just want to go crazy with some tricks. I don't know about me, but I do like it. Do I like it more than the original Kite? To be determined. So far, no. I do like the original Kite a little tiny bit more. Granted, this is also less than 1/3 of the price. So at that point, it's like, do I think the original Kite is 3 times better? No, absolutely not. This is an extremely solid feeling Balisong. I didn't even mention the sound, which is excellent. The tune is great. No, almost zero wiggle at all, especially when you shake it. Yeah. All right, LDY as usual, delivering a product that hits way above its weight class for the price. But will this be another serious V4 moment where I should like it, but I just kind of don't? Stay tuned and find out. Thank you again for LDY, to LDY for sending this thing out as I almost destroy my foot with it. I am impressed, and I think I will be more impressed as I flip this thing more. I can already feel myself kind of getting more and more used to it. The other thing is, because it is a bit more momentum heavy, my hands have been very off lately. They've just kind of hurt. So I'm putting more effort into stopping and ricocheting this thing, which could be part of the reason why I'm not flipping it as good. So I'm going to spend some more time with it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you again to LDY for sending this thing out. Very excited to be in the new place. Hopefully you could see enough and everything didn't blend back into the black carpet. That's one thing I'm going to miss about the old apartment is the brown carpet. Nothing really blended in with the brown carpet, and that was pretty cool. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one. Later.